Hi, I'm Jimmy Blakeney, board sports and paddle sports instructor and product designer for ISLE. This video is how to get started kayaking in just 5 minutes. So first, let's talk about safety. You want to always check the weather before you head out on the water and make sure you have good conditions. In particular, the wind shouldn't be very strong. Next, you want to choose a body of water that's calm and free of boat traffic. You want to always wear a life jacket, either a belt pack inflatable life jacket or an inherently buoyant life jacket, especially if you're not a strong swimmer. Finally, always paddle with a friend. So when it comes to what's going on the water, there are 3 components. There's your blade, your body, and your boat. So first we're going to talk about your blade or your paddle. When it comes to your paddle, you're going to size the length of your paddle based on the width of your kayak. That's important. About 230 to 240 centimeters is a good starting point for recreational kayaks. When it comes to holding your paddle, you want to make sure that the ribbed face of the paddle is facing away from you and that the scooped part of the blade is facing behind you. I'm going to hold the paddle and I'm going to try to be centered holding my paddle. In this case, I have the 2 blue reference points, so I know to hold my paddle evenly from left to right. And if I place it on top of my head, my elbows should be bent about 90 degrees. Next, we're going to talk about the 3 C's. Comfort, connection, for control. You want to make sure that you're comfortable in your kayak. You can do this on land before you get in the water. You want to make sure that you also have connection. In this case, it's really important to have a connection down near your hips and also on your feet. And for your feet, it's your heels and the balls of your feet that should have a good connection on your foot brace. Being comfortable and connected to your kayak is going to be what allows you to have control when you're out on the water. When it comes to getting on the water, there's lots of techniques. In this case, I'm launching from a beach, and I also have a kayak that has a skeg. So in this case, what I'm going to do is wade into the water, make sure it's an area that's free of any obstacles. I'm going to turn the kayak and make sure that the skeg is in deep enough water that it's not caught on the ground. And a sit inside kayak, it takes a little bit more to get inside the kayak. In this case, I can just sit down, climb on board, take a few backward strokes, reverse strokes, and I'm on the water. Okay, so once you're on the water, you want to pay attention to your 3 C's. I'm comfortable, I have really good connection, therefore I'm going to have control. One of the first ways to have control is to be able to separate your upper and lower body. So you should be able to keep your head centered over the board or boat and be able to rock your hips side to side. Next, we're going to talk about paddle strokes, but there's 2 really important things to keep in mind regardless of what type of stroke you're taking. First, when I'm holding my paddle, I want to hold it with a light, relaxed grip, making an OK symbol with my hands. This allows me to get good reach as opposed to holding it with all of my fingers where I won't be able to get good reach up towards the bow of my kayak. Next, when I take my stroke, whatever stroke it is, I'm going to place the blade fully in the water before I apply pressure. So the first stroke is the forward stroke. The forward stroke is what you use to get where you want to go. I'm placing the blade fully in the water. And what I'm doing is I'm pressing my feet into my foot brace and my lower back into the base of my seat. This gives me that contact and connection that I want so that I can be efficient on the water with my stroke. If we need to turn, we're going to do what's called a sweep stroke. With a sweep stroke, it can be done from the stern to the bow or the bow to the stern. And what I'm doing here is I'm extending my arm straight and I'm doing a rainbow away from the boat. You can practice this sitting still like this. And when you do it like this, if you do it properly and you keep this arm straight, you should feel that in your core. So the next stroke we're going to talk about is a draw stroke. This stroke has a ton of detail to it, but basically a draw is where we're pulling the blade towards or away from the boat. A draw stroke is nice to be able to pull the kayak sideways. Final stroke is just a reverse stroke, just like a forward stroke, blade fully in the water. This allows me to back up. After you're done paddling, you're coming into shore. You can bring the nose of the kayak or the bow of the kayak straight onto shore in the case of this beach landing. This way, I know that my skeg is in the water still, so it's not running on shore. Then I can just step off. I can pick it up sideways, put it on its edge, grab the carry handle, or it might be a cockpit rim, depending on what kind of kayak it is. And I'm gonna pick it up and walk out of the water. Okay, so that's a wrap for how to kayak in under 5 minutes. Remember, this is just a primer to get you on the water safely and efficiently. There is a lifetime of learning ahead of you in kayaking. So I hope you enjoy your time on the water. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below and we'll see you out there.